How you doing, everyone? I would like to talk to you about some things today. This may get off. I tend to go off on a tangent sometimes, but I want to start this out by explaining something about the voting system here. Some of you, my family and friends, most of you know that I live in Cook County, Illinois, which is the second most populous county in the country in the United States. We have more population than God, I can name 10 states off the top of my head. So we're a very large county population wise, and we also we have historically been able to tip elections here, and the reason behind that is the democratic machine. Um, Start back if you go back to the 1960 election, which was up until probably Bush and Gore, was probably the closest presidential election in modern history. Um, Kennedy versus Nixon, 1960, um, and the Chicago vote, the Cook County vote, was held back until the last minute, and that put Kennedy over the top. Now, the mayor at the time, Richard J. Daley, you'll hear this name throughout this little video here, the Daley family. Um, Daley was the mayor, and he was friends with and had ties with Joe Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's father. So you see how the fix was in there. If you don't know about Cook County and the state of Illinois in general, we are by far, and this is documented through number of indicted and convicted officials, public officials, elected officials, judges. We are the most corrupt county and most corrupt state in the country. I know some of you probably think you have corruption where you live and stuff. Believe me, you're rank amateurs. This is finishing school here. This is you have to have a PhD in corruption to be here. If you see a politician or a judge from Illinois, you can pretty much assure that they're crooked as fuck. So, and about my language here, I'm sorry if it offends somebody, but I'm really not sorry. So what I want to go into today is this is fairly anecdotal, but there's a lot of discussion right now about mail-in ballots, and I want to give you this is an example. This is something that happened in my house here. Now, I moved in with my mother and my stepfather a couple years ago because my stepfather had taken a couple falls, and I knew my mom couldn't take care of him. She's 5'2" and he was 6'2". Unfortunately, he passed away on March 28th of this year. So, but I want to show you something. Now, this was he passed away at home. He wasn't hospitalized. It wasn't from COVID. He was 88 years old. Passed of natural causes in his bed at home, which is what he wanted to do. But my mother makes copies of everything she does. I mean, this is just how she is. So this is a copy of the mail ballot application that they sent in for my stepfather. Now that was mailed. You can see at the top that was mailed on 3/2 of this year. So March 2nd. He died on March 28th. So now we could have taken that ballot and sent it in, but we're actually good citizens and we don't do shit like that. But so and what I really wanted to show you was at the bottom here. Now he's always voted, and he's been an election judge before he became infirmed. You see the Republican box checked there. So he requested a Republican ballot for the primary. What was sent to the House here in Cook County and we saved it, we didn't send it in, that is a Democrat primary election ballot. By the time this came and my mother called to let them know that, hey, you sent the wrong ballot, they, of course, apologized profusely, but it was too late for them to send out a Republican ballot. So when you talk about disenfranchisement or suppressing vote of a certain group of people, this is just an example. Now the fact that it happened here in this house is not don't think that this is a fluke because the next thing I want to show you is that now again he passed away on March 28th. Here we are 4.5 months later, we get the ballot. Now, these were not requested. These are mail-in ballot requests. So there were 4 of them sent to this house for my mother, my stepfather, my sister, and I. Okay. So we got 4 of these sent to the house. 4 of these were in our mailbox. Now, these are to request mail-in ballots. And if you'll see right here, that's my stepfather's. So apparently he's still on the voter rolls here in Chicago, although he's been dead for 4.5 months. So I'm going to read to you, it's just a couple short paragraphs, the instructions here on what to do with these. Now, again, these weren't requested. These were just sent. So it says, notice to voters. Due to COVID-19, that's their excuse, all 2020 general election voters are encouraged to cast a ballot prior to Election Day. Prior to Election Day. It'll come in a little bit here. On November 3rd, either by mail or during early voting. Voting by mail is an easy option for voters. Oh, they're just making it so easy for you. And you can request a vote by mail ballot through email, mail, online, or in person. Well, if you can request one in person, why can't you just go to the friggin' polling place on November 3rd? But we'll get into that in a minute. Upon completion of the vote by mail application, voters will receive an official ballot no more than 40 days and no less than 30 days before the election. After submitting the application, a voter will receive a ballot at his or her registered address or the mailing address requested by the voter. We'll go into that. And such ballot must be completed and returned or postmarked no later than Election Day. And then it just says, voter, if you have any questions, that has their email and their phone number. Well, I have quite a few questions. Like I said, these were just stuck in our mailbox. So what's going on in Chicago right now is there's a lot of rioting and looting right out in the streets, broad daylight, in front of the police. If you have people that are that brazen and that's against the system, and you know they're all Democrat voters, there's not a single Republican or conservative out there committing crimes in the street. So you know these are the Democrat base right now, the radical left base. You don't think it's beyond them to actually go out and start grabbing these out of mailboxes? Now, we've seen what it says there. So say I'm an Antifa or a BLM protester, and I decide to get some of my friends together, and we go out and we hit a neighborhood and we collect all these. We follow the mailman, and we just come behind him and we snatch all these out of mailboxes. So now I have these. Now I can take these and I can take them and sign them, and the election board has already said that they do not have the ability to cross-check all the signatures against the signature cards that they have. So they have no way of checking if this is legitimate. So when the president actually says that this is rife, the opportunity for fraud is just unbelievable. This is what we're talking about. I could have gone around this neighborhood, grabbed all of these out of mailboxes. I could have taken them back here to my house. I could have requested ballots to be sent to whatever address I wanted according to their instructions. Not the house that I'm registered to vote at, which would be my precinct, my state legislative district, my congressional district. How can you send a ballot to someone at a different residence than the area they're supposed to be voting in, the representatives they're supposed to be voting for? Can it be sent to an out-of-state address? Can it be sent anywhere? So I could have literally collected all these in my neighborhood, brought them to my house. The name's right on there. I can sign all these names. The full name is right on there. I can sign all those, have all these ballots sent to one address. I can rent an apartment somewhere, cheap apartment for the month, have 100 of my friends go around, collect up all these things, request ballots. Now it's early voting, so these are going to get in before the election day. So now I've requested all these ballots. The ballots were sent to my fake address. Myself and my friends signed or voted all these ballots, because you don't have to sign the actual ballot. We have all these ballots. We fill them out. We send them in. Now they've been sent in before the election. So now I'm Joe Blow, going. I never knew that this was in my mailbox because it got taken out of my mailbox before I ever saw it. So on November 3rd, I go to vote. As I walk in there and I show my ID, as I always do, even though they never look at it here in Illinois, um, I show them my ID, and the woman will look down and she'll say, "Oh, you already requested a mail-in ballot. You've already voted, so we can't allow you to vote today." Now, this would be on election day, which would leave no recourse to get my vote in before the actual election. This is a practical application of how easy this is to undermine this election. Now, what the Chinese and the Russians have wanted, and other people for so long, is to just sow dissent and sow the seeds that you don't trust the election, you don't trust the results. Well, you don't need the Chinese or the Russians to do that. The Democrat Party right here in my home county that I've lived in my entire life, with the exception of when I was in the military, the Democrat Party here has already made me question that, and I've questioned them here in Cook County. I've questioned it my entire life, because if you don't know how it works here, Cook County is like a third world country. It's a banana republic, and it's a shame. It's been run by Democrats way before my father was born, and this is what they do here. This is the corruptness of this system. And if it's happening here, you know it's going to happen in other places. The left is so pissed off, number one, that Donald Trump got elected, that they are willing to do anything. They're not even hiding what they're going to do when they get in now. They're just openly brazen about it, stating the things that they're going to do, which are going to destroy this country. If Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are elected, it's going to be a disaster, absolute disaster. If you don't like Donald Trump for personal reasons, or you can't argue with what he's doing at the job. If you actually know the facts and know what's going on, and not listening to all the lies you've been told in the media, which you have, and this is not a conspiracy theory. If you look at the facts, and anybody who knows me knows that I've studied this shit my entire life. I know what the fuck's going on in this country and in the world. And I can tell you, as a friend, as a family member, if you want what's best for your family, you're going to vote for Trump in 2020. You may not like some of the stuff he does personally. I don't like some of the stuff he does personally, but he's good at his job. He knows how to do this job. I am perfectly fine with him as a commander-in-chief, and the President of the United States. Like I said, I might go off on a tangent here, but I'm going to explain to you how things work here in Cook County. Like I said, this is anecdotal, but if you're seeing what's coming out right now in the Durham investigation, and what Bill Barr, or excuse me, Bob Barr, Bill Barr, what what the Attorney General is working on right now, you see what actually went on at the highest levels of government, and it is actually treason. By definition, it is treason, which is one of the only two crimes named in the Constitution. There's only two. There's treason, and there's forgery of money. You can't. What was done from the highest levels down, Barack Obama, and for those of you, I'm going to take you back to the Chicago system. If you don't know how it works here, the people here in this system, which Barack Obama came to Chicago, and he was raised by the Democratic machine here. He was brought up. He got in to be an Illinois state senator. Didn't even complete his term till he was appointed U.S. senator. Appointed, not elected, because there was an opening at the time. He didn't finish that job either. He didn't do his 6-year term. He was only there a couple years before he ran for president. This would be like taking a first-year apprentice plumber and putting him in charge of building the Sears Tower. You just don't do it. The guy has no experience, no real life experience, and besides that, he's crooked as fuck. You don't like me saying that you like Barack Obama? Well, I'm going to tell you the truth about him. He came here from the Chicago system. And what they will do here is they will lie, cheat, steal. They will cut their own mother's throat to gain power, gain more power, or stay in power. That's how they are here. That's how this entire fucking state is. The Daily. So let me just give you a brief history of Barack Obama. Comes up here. He goes through. He gets his job. Gets appointed through the state. Democrat Party's looking out for him here in Illinois. They get him on the national stage. They get him elected. This is something they've never had here in Illinois. You've got the Dailies, who Richard M. Daley, the son of Richard J. Daley, also mayor. Before he was mayor, before Richard M. Daley was mayor, he was the Cook County State's attorney. So he got to hire all the prosecutors and everyone in that office. So they're all in it. So they're not going to investigate him or any of his cronies. Now you have Michael Madigan, also another Southside Irish little fuck. And I'm Irish from the South Side too, but these are different fucking breed. Madigan is the Speaker of the House here in Illinois. He controls everything. He's like a fucking mob boss. He's got the goods on fucking everybody. He's been there since 1971. Think about that. Almost 50 fucking years. He's had his fucking hand in this, stealing fucking everything. You want to know why Illinois is fucking broke? This is why. So you've got Madigan controlling that. He gets his daughter elected as Illinois State's attorney. So now we've got the county. We've got the state covered. Now we get Barack Obama elected President of the United States. And who do we send with Barack Obama to be right there in the Oval Office as his chief of staff? Bill Daley, Richard Daley's brother. So he's chief of staff for the first 2 years of the Obama administration. Make sure that Barry gets in there and we get it set up right, and we hire Fast and Furious as the Attorney General there. Tell him, hey, don't look into anything in Illinois. That's why there's been no prosecutions, no investigations for the last 8 years that Obama was in office. There was no prosecutions or anything here in Illinois. They were stealing. It was a free-for-all, hand over fist. Now that since Trump's been in office, right now we have Madigan is actually under federal investigation for a bribery scheme with Commonwealth Edison to get legislation done to get them. So that's working out right now. You also had the most powerful, longest serving alderman in the city of Chicago, Ed Burke, charge of the finance committee. He's under investigation now too, also for bribery and things like that. And they're so fucking brazen. They have him on tape, on the phone, extorting people. That's how brazen they are here. They think they can do whatever the fuck they want. And that's exactly what Obama did with this spying on Trump, spying on the campaign, using the FBI. They use any tools they can against your enemy. They try and crush you. That's the Chicago way here. And that's what they tried to do. They tried to take this fucking politics here in Chicago and take it to a national level. That's what you're seeing. And people say, oh, you know, if you're not from here, everybody says, oh, how could that possibly be? I'm telling you what the fuck happened right now. You're going to see it come out in the Durham report, how deep this was. You don't know these fuckers. If you're not from Chicago, you don't know how they work. You can't even fathom it, how deep this shit goes. And it's been this way forever here. So anyway, you've got Bill Daley there looking over Barry's shoulder in the White House. So Bill comes home after 2 years, and then who do we put in as the chief of staff after Bill Daley? We put Rahm Emanuel, old dead fish Rahm, tough guy, little nine-finger ballerina from the fucking North Shore. He's not even from the city. He comes back. Well, he goes there, and he's the chief of staff to keep an eye on Barry to make sure everything goes well. Then they send him back, and what does he become? Oh, Richard M. Daley decides he's going to retire now. He's had enough. He's been there almost 30 fucking years as the fucking mayor. It's basically a fucking position for life around this fucking place. So when he decides to leave, they bring Rahm back from Washington, and he is anointed the mayor of the city. I could go into a whole bunch of other stuff like the Strogers and all the other shit that go where people just get appointed to positions in the second largest county. 5.5 million people are controlled by these fucking idiots, and almost 11 million people in the state of Illinois. if it wasn't for my family, I'd be out of this fucking state. I would have been gone long ago. Um, but anyway, just to let you know how corrupt this system is and this mail-in balloting. Here's the deal: if you can put on a mask and go to the fucking store to get your groceries or go anywhere else, you can go to the polls on election day. Put a mask on, go to the poll. It's not going to be that bad. On an average presidential election day, only 50 to 60% of the actual voters turn out, not population, voters turn out to go. So if you Democrats are trying to tell you, oh, because of COVID and everything, Trump's trying to steal the election, and he's not allowing you to do this, and you're placing your life at risk. You're not placing your fucking life at risk. Go vote. Be an American. Be a real fucking American. Go vote. Just don't vote for fucking Biden this year. You can vote Democrat all you want and all the other fucking times, but do not do it this time, because if you vote Democrat this time and the Democrats have the House and the presidency, heaven forbid they get the fucking Senate too, they're going to make 20 to 30 million illegals in this country citizens. And those citizens are going to vote Democrat. And you see how they've scattered them out. As when they were bringing them in, the immigrants, and they had to send them out, they sent them to different places all over the country. They don't send them to one spot. They send them all over the country. And what they do is they send them to places that are predominantly Republican voting, because they want to change, number one, the demographics in that area. They also want to change how that area votes. They can swing an entire state just by bringing in a bunch of people and planting them in place. So you're basically, this is a power grab by the Democrat Party. And if you think it's not, if you think this is just, if you're going to vote Democrat because you think you have a big heart, or you just don't like Trump, if you just don't like somebody, but he's doing the fucking job, do you care what the guy, when you drive through your Dunkin' Donuts in the morning and get the coffee, the guy who you want him to get the donuts and get your coffee, that's his fucking job. That's what he's being paid for. You give a fuck what he does on his time, on his own time? No, you don't. You don't give it a second thought. None of you people hated Trump before he was president. All of a sudden they've told you to hate Trump. So you've been lied to. You need to wake the fuck up. I worry for this country. What's going to happen? Like I said, the Russians and the Chinese want you to want you to question the election. They want both sides to question the election, and they've done that. And not only them, they didn't have even that big of a part. It's the Democrat Party, the shit that they're doing. Pelosi and Schumer. These are not Americans. These people do not want what's best for this country. They want to be divisive. They keep telling you it's Trump that's divisive. Trump isn't divisive. If you just wake up and actually do some research and don't listen to what's said about Trump, turn on your goddamn TV, C-SPAN, and listen to the words that actually come out of the man's mouth. Now, he's not the most eloquent person. He's not Ronald Reagan. He's not the great communicator. But listen to his point. And if you have any common sense, if you have any street smarts, if you've lived any type of life where you know what he's saying. He may not be, like I said, he may not express it in the easiest or the most. See, I can't even express right now what I'm trying to say. But he's a common sense guy, and he's trying to do a job, and he sees shit that's broken, and he's trying to fix it the way we would. You would come in and you would say, you wouldn't try to pander to it, but you'd say, that's broke. I need to go fix it. I just wish people would see what's actually being done in this country. And like I said, this voting thing, this is just this is just my house. This is just my house. You think this doesn't go on all over the fucking place here in Cook County? I've been dealing with this stuff for over half a century. But I'll close this here. I've got a bunch of other things running through my head, but this is getting long. I'm at almost 25 minutes. So, yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Please, whatever you do, go out and vote in person and show them your ID, even if they don't want to see it. Put it in their face so they know it's you. Make a point of it. That's all I've got for now. Well, I've got a whole bunch, but for now, we'll close this. All right. See you later.